Hello everyone, welcome back to Sana IE. I feel like it's been the longest week ever, man. Y'all feeling like that? A lot of nonsense, I ain't gonna say nonsense, a lot of shit has been going on, excuse my French, but this coronavirus has everybody in a frenzy. The stores are running out of supplies, people not wanting to be in the streets, the NBA got suspended, NCAA got suspended. The MLB's up next. Man, that is all crazy. On this episode, I really want to discuss like the whole, like I said last Friday, on last Friday's episode, I want to discuss childhood trauma and how that affects the mental health growing up as you become a young adult, adolescent, and you're just going through your phases of life, how that the childhood trauma affects you. And I got that for y'all. But just this whole week, like I said, I've just been thrown off and just trying to really figure out the whole coronavirus. Like I said, man, it's been taking up everything. And this whole week has been raining out here in Cali. The weather's been up and down, but we still gonna have a great episode, man. I'm really thinking about Monday's episode. If you haven't checked out Monday's episode, tune in, check it out. It's my conversation with the homegirl Basma, and she's discussing her mental health journey, her mental health advocacy, as well as her mental health awareness and what she's doing and how she's doing to bring more light to mental health. The episode is a great episode, man. So scroll back. If you listen to this episode, scroll back to the episode before. And the mental health conversation with Baz is one of the greatest episodes that I've put out so far, and it's very close to me. It means a lot to me if y'all really just take the time out and just listen and just indulge in the conversation and just really check it out and listen to it. But it's Friday, a long week. I know y'all ready for the weekend, or maybe not. Y'all really might stay in this weekend and whatnot. But I appreciate y'all tuning in, rocking with me, just enjoying the show, reviewing the show. I've been getting a lot of reviews and feedback this week, especially from Monday's show. A lot of people have been saying that it's been helping them, and they really taking in the advice as well as just the knowledge that was producing that episode. So I appreciate all y'all providing feedback, leaving reviews, leaving comments, and everything. If this is your first time listening, welcome to Sana IE. I'm your host, XO. Appreciate you taking the time out your day to listen and tune in and really just see what I'm about, see what the podcast is about. And basically the podcast, Sana IE, every episode is different, but the main purpose for the podcast is just to discuss different aspects of life and life, the journey of life. And that goes down to this whole month, March. I came up with March for Mental Health. So every episode I'm doing is discussing and talking about the different phases, different sides of mental health. So, and that's very dear to me, near and dear to my heart. So appreciate y'all coming in, tuning in. Like I said, this whole episode, I'm going to discuss the childhood trauma and how it affects going into adulthood, and just the different phases of that, the myth and facts of mental illness, mental health, and just some more knowledge, man. I got the quotes of the day, what I learned this week, and just really just getting prepared for this weekend. And I got what's coming up on Monday's show, man. Stay tuned. I appreciate y'all. Like the show, subscribe to the show, leave a review. If you have any feedback or comments, or you don't feel like doing all that, you just want to hit me personally, you can DM me or message me on any social media platform at Sana IE Podcast, or you can hit me up on the Gmail at sanaiepodcast@gmail.com. I'll be happy to give you, talk with you, discuss with you. Let's build a relationship, build a friendship, and just get more communicative with each other. If you're going through any hard times, trials and tribulations, or you feeling like you just on the edge and you just like need somebody to talk to, I'm here if you want to talk to me. I got people that will talk and listen and give you advice about anything that you're going through, or any advice you need help, that you're starting a business, starting a company, or you just starting to start fresh. You fresh out of a relationship. I got a breakup episode that's really good and very educational as well. But I'm gonna get started with this show, man. I'm just like so grateful and so thankful for just this whole week. This whole week's been up and down, and just really just realizing all the blessings that I received this week, and I'm truly grateful for it. But we're going to get into today's show. I'm going to give y'all a quick break, and then I'm going to hit you with the quotes of the day. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Sana IE, your boy EXO. We here. Quote of the day. You can waste so much energy trying to make everyone happy, but at the end of the day, it's impossible to please everyone. So you just need to focus on what makes you happy. But me personally, that's what me my whole life. I'm 27 now, and that's what I've been trying to do throughout my whole life, is just make everyone else happy, and then I'll be like, I'll get happy from there, get that happiness from them and that comfort. I'll be happy seeing them happy, if that makes sense. But at the end of the day, that happiness will wears off on me, simply because that happiness is like, you got to find your own happiness, create your own happiness, create that own happy feeling, versus trying to exert your energy, waste your energy, exhaust yourself, stress yourself thin, trying to make somebody else happy. Just always trying to make others happy versus making yourself happy first. And I'm learning like that ain't gonna fly, because that happiness is only like a quick, short burst of happiness. Like, you'll be happy for a second, but that happiness will go away. So just finding happiness throughout, not happiness, but being happy just in general, just life, being happy with yourself, with how far you came on your journey, or where you at today, where you started. And maybe, let's say last year you had the roughest year of your life, and you was like, man, you thought you wouldn't make it through, but hello, we're in 2020 and you made it through, and you just find that happiness and that joy in that, and not letting your energy be exerted towards making somebody else happy, making sure they're, you can make somebody else happy, but don't overexert yourself trying to make others happy versus you trying to make yourself happy first. Make yourself happy first, create that happiness, that peace, that happiness, the happy vibe, the happy energy around you, and people start gravitating towards that, and you won't have to exert so much energy trying to make others happy. So, quote once again, you can waste so much energy trying to make everyone happy, but at the end of the day, it's impossible to please everyone. It really is impossible to please everyone. So you just need to focus on what makes you happy. Focus on what makes you happy, how your happiness surpasses everything else. Second quote would be, stop hating yourself for everything you aren't. Start loving yourself for everything you are. We're all on a journey to become our best version of ourselves, become a better version of ourselves, but don't hate yourself for not being where you want to be. Enjoy that process. Enjoy the pain, the misery. Enjoy it all. Embrace it all. Enjoy the failure. Embrace the failure, and just use it as fuel to moving towards where you want to be, and just start loving yourself for everything you've been through. Like I said, we all been through a journey. We all been through the hard times, trials and tribulations, the rough times, the days where we feel like we didn't want to do shit at all. We just want to lay in bed or just lay up and not do nothing. Love yourself for everything you are, for the person that you've been through, the person you became, the person you was, and who you are now, who you want to be. Love every process of yourself. Trust in yourself and have confidence in yourself and believe in yourself. Love yourself. That's the biggest thing. Loving yourself versus hating yourself. Don't hate or dislike yourself just because you aren't where you want to be. Don't hate yourself because you was in a relationship and you didn't see the signs or anything of that nature. Don't hate yourself because you lost a job or got fired from a job or you quit a job. Love yourself and love the process of where you're going and where you're headed. Focus on your final destination, not your current situation. I always say my current situation isn't my final destination, and there's a reason behind that. So love yourself and everything you are and where you're at right now. Love who you became over time. Love everything about yourself, the flaws and all. Embrace your flaws. Embrace everything that made you who you are to this day, this very minute. Love yourself. Don't hate yourself. Don't dislike yourself. Don't discourage yourself. Have that confidence in yourself to be everything you are, because you're already everything you are. and start loving yourself and embracing, like I said, where you are and how far you came, and just love the whole process of yourself, of where you become from day one when you came out the womb till now. Life is about making mistakes and learning from the mistakes and learning from the failures and learning from everything. Life is a learning experience. There's growing pains in life. So the quote once again is, stop hating yourself for everything you aren't. Start loving yourself for everything you are. Love yourself and love yours. I'll be right back. I'm going to hit y'all with what I learned this week, and we're going to get into the childhood trauma, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in, liking the show, subscribing to the show. Sana IE. We're here. Just really share the show. Tell a friend about the show. Whatever episode you like, whatever episode is your favorite, let me know what your favorite episode is. Let me know on social media, as far as any social media platform, at Sana IE Podcast, and let me know what your favorite episode is, or even email me at sanaiepodcast@gmail.com. I want to hear y'all feedback on your favorite episodes. I want to hear what y'all love, what y'all dislike, all that, the feedback, reviews, just anything you want to say or get up, let me know. Or anybody you want to talk to, any of my recent guests that you want to talk to. I had a ton of fabulous recent guests that's been on my show, and I'm going to bring some of them back on to discuss different aspects of their whole journey, and probably get them, interview them about their mental health and their mental mind state and how they deal with certain aspects that come towards them. But I appreciate y'all. Brief break, and we're going to be back. What I learned this week: learn to do it yourself. And that's with anything. I recently bought a new project that I'm working on, that I was going to have somebody else work on, but now that I've had to switch lanes and work on myself because the person didn't know how to conduct business in the right way, I want to say. But it is what it is. I didn't let it hold me back from what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to accomplish. I was just like, all right, fuck it. I learned how to do this myself, and I really enjoy that whole process. And that's another skill I'll be adding to my repertoire in the process. So I'm really excited and hyped to really learn this and get into it. So that's what I learned this week. Learn to do it yourself. You can't really depend on others to have that vision that you have that dream that you have that drive that you have, or have that ability that you have to what you want to do and accomplish. So you just got to learn to do some things on your own, and that happens when you're trying to create a business or build a brand or anything of that nature. You won't have people there in the beginning. You're gonna have to do everything yourself, and that's okay. That's what I said. So basically, learning everything yourself adds skills to your repertoire, to when later down the line, some people might inquire for your services for that certain skill that you worked on while building your brand, or you'll know how that certain skill operates when you hire somebody else to do what you've been doing. So learning to do it yourself goes a long way, especially that these days we have YouTube, so you can practically watch videos on how to do anything and everything. Like if you want to be a personal trainer, you can watch YouTube, see the different workouts, see the different tips, stuff of that nature. You want to be a professional dog walker, all that. So that's what I'm learning to do it myself, because I've been depending on people too long and they've been failing me over and over again, and I'm still like, I'll still depend on them. Nah, let that go. I'm learning. That's what I'm starting with, learning to do everything myself. And I just love the whole challenge of learning something new and doing it myself, fucking up, and just still embracing and coming back and learning from that fuck up and learning from that failure, and just, all right, how can I make it great again, or how can I rearrange it and make it how I want it, make it in my vision. So another thing I learned this week is live below your means and save more. Live below your means and save more means you ain't got to eat out all the time. That's my biggest thing. I resorted back to eating out, man. I've been just appreciating life, and I've just always been eating out so much lately. But I'm getting back to living below my means. Eating the food that I have in my house is basically one lesson about living below your means. Eat at home. Eat the food that you have in your house. That saves so much money. You plan out your meals, meal prep and everything. You'll save a lot of money by doing that. So that's what I'm doing. Living below my means and really just determining what I want and what I need. Like I was having this thought process, this brainstorming process, and I was like, I was thinking about a car. I was like, like I said, it's one in need. Do I need this new car, or do I just want this new car? And that's what it really came down to. And it was more of a want than a need. And that's what I try to balance out with everything, with any like purchases or of that nature. Any purchases. Like put it on the scale. Do I want it or do I need it? If I want it, I'm like, I don't, then obviously you don't need it. But it's something you need. Is it a necessity? That's what it comes down to. So that's another lesson for living below your means is want versus need. We all want something, but at the end of the day, we ask ourselves, do I need this? How will this benefit me in the long run? How many times will I use this item? Stuff like that. And of course, you need to want a car, but I have a perfectly great running car that I love, that I'm grateful for. So I'm not going to be like, oh, let me go get another car. It's pointless. It's just a want. So I don't need it. Another thing is I've learned is take a break. If you know me, you speak to me on a daily and personal level, you know I'm always working, always doing something, always grinding where I'm always exerting my energy doing things instead of really just taking a break and depugging, unstressing from everything, unplugging from everything, turning my phone off and just really just focusing on me and my grind, and not my grind, me and myself and my inner self and my health, and really just focusing on taking a break from everything. I'm learning like really just, sometimes you need breaks to re-strategize and regroup and just have a clear mind, a clear state, and just have that clear back balance. Because if you're always running everywhere, running ragged, doing this, doing that, stretching yourself, exerting your energy, stretching yourself thin, you'll burn yourself out quick. And that's what I've been learning. Just like, take a break. People been telling me take a break, but I'm like, my body wants to take a break, but my mind's like, nah, we got work to do. But I'm trying to find the balance of where taking a break and really just taking a day, getting back to my days where I do self-appreciation days, and taking that break, taking that time, and just appreciating myself, getting myself, like I said, my mind right, my body right, just make sure I'm eating the right things, taking an evaluation of myself, and just really just getting back to me and getting that balance back. So that's what I learned this week. On to childhood trauma. Basically, exposure to traumatic events, experiences in childhood can have a negative impact on the development of the brain when it's most vulnerable. Childhood maltreatment are more common than reported. That's a big problem. That's an issue. Children in general shouldn't be mistreated at all. There shouldn't get to be no physical abuse, no mental abuse, none of that nature. But even though it still happens, it's crazy that it's more common than reported. It should be reported more. But I know the kids themselves would be afraid to tell what their parents are doing or what that parent is doing. Sometimes it's even to the nature where one parent's doing it, the other parent knows, but that parent is afraid to voice out against the other parent. So it's It's like that. But it has to be reported. Child abuse, any child trauma, anything of that nature has to be reported. And that's for a reason. Because child maltreatment shouldn't happen, but it does happen. And like I said, it's more common than reported. If you're listening to this right now and you know something of that nature, but I believe my listeners wouldn't tolerate any childhood maltreatment. But let's say you don't know how to speak up, man. Find somebody to confide in, or you have to speak up in general, simply because it's a child and the child may not have the voice or may not have the right words to voice their opinion on what happened or what's going on. You have to be that figure in their life to make that happen or tell someone. But one of the research facts I found in 2015 and 2016, Australian children were exposed to maltreatment. About 45,000 of them. 45,000 children in Australia in 2015 to 2016. 45,000 children were involved in child maltreatment. And that right there, that's just like, it's sad that this happens, and it's sad that it's 45,000, like, really? As adults, it's more than probably just adults doing it, but adults, teens, anything of that nature, it's like, it has to stop. That goes back to the quote of loving yourself for everything you are. If you love yourself, you wouldn't condone or do any child maltreatment. But like I said, I know my listeners that they won't condone or tolerate that. But I'm just speaking to a broader view, a broader audience, to maybe first-time listeners, and they've witnessed it or they're going through it, speaking to them on that behalf. As well as adversity in childhood can include emotional, physical, and sexual abuse, neglect, and the sudden loss of a parent or caregiver. Childhood adversity is a major risk factor for the development of psychological and behavioral problems. I'm going to go back to what I first just said. Adversity in childhood can include emotional, physical, and sexual abuse, neglect, and the sudden loss of a parent or caregiver. Any emotional or physical, even a sexual abuse towards a child should never, ever, ever, ever be tolerated. And in general, like I said, it just goes back to the quote, loving yourself, and you wouldn't push off no hate onto a child or anything of that nature, because we all was once kids. And maybe we went through any childhood adversity, whether it's an emotional or physical or sexual abuse, neglect, or the sudden loss of a parent or caregiver. That affects the human mind a lot. And maybe you're listening to this now, reflecting back to your childhood and thinking back, did I have any emotional abuse? Did I have any physical abuse? Any sexual abuse? Any neglect? The sudden loss of a parent or a caregiver? And you're just reflecting back now. And sometimes our brain has this funny way of blocking out traumatic events. Some traumatic events, especially from the childhood, where they just like, where you're trying to reflect back and you have bits and pieces of your childhood. Some of the traumatic events are blocked out for a reason. And having that block out is really, really good, simply because maybe if you was able to see that memory, that traumatic event, it may give you PTSD, it may have you trip out, or it may have you address the situation or address the person, or it can go one of 100 ways, one of a million ways. But that's the thing about the brain. It really blocks out any traumatic event, any bad event, anything that it doesn't think you should remember, like that of that nature. So, if you was a child, me reflecting back, I'm thinking like now, I'm grateful that I had a blessed childhood, that I have to deal with anything of that nature. But I have later as I grew up in my teens, I've found out that somebody close to me was not somebody, like two people was abused as children, and they turned out to be phenomenal people, phenomenal, great people. One still holds a grudge against the abuser, but one holds a grudge against the abuser and the other parent. But that's a different total subject, a different subject. And I'm just saying, like, you can't really have any resentment against or somebody for what they did during that phase. Even though, like I said, me, a person, I don't tolerate or condone it, but you still got to grow past it, get past it, live your life, but still not have that resentment or neglect, because at the end of the day, that falls on them and the higher being, the higher calling, whoever they got to answer to at the end of the day. But back on subject, man. I was just thinking, reflecting back. Childhood trauma, man. Childhood adversity. This really affects the human mind and the development of the brain. Because when you're a child, your brain is most vulnerable, so it captures those events. And not to tell, but I know some people do have that photogenic memory or photographic memory. So that's tough too on the human brain, where they can really remember them events and capture those events. But back on subject, higher rates of depression, suicide, anxiety disorders, PTSD, and aggressive behavior have been reported in adults who have experienced childhood maltreatment. So people who were abused or as a child have higher rates of depression, suicide, anxiety disorders, PTSD, and aggressive behavior. And all that just goes back from their childhood trauma. It does something to the brain for the long term. It does something for the brain, but it's like a longevity thing. So my bad. But if you have anybody in your life, that's why I always like me personally, I always try to, when I interview somebody or talk to somebody, I always try to reflect back to the childhood. How was their upbringing? And that will honestly let you know a lot about a person. And I didn't learn that until last year. Somebody's childhood, how they grow up, everything has a whole lot to do with how they become an adult and the adult that they are today. And I was like, man, I was blown away. I didn't know that until I started doing the research on the mental health. And like I said, last year, I just really started thinking like that, because that childhood, you growing up, 18 straight years, let's say you 18 straight years, which is growing up in the same house, same household, same family and everything. So that really shapes your brain throughout life. And then you start meeting friends and going out and doing the stuff like that. But childhood really affects how you are as an adult this very moment right now. I'm gonna have to get some people back on here and really just discuss how their childhoods were. Like on my last episode, I was interviewing Basma about her childhood, and she gave very descriptive details about it. Check it out. Check out the last episode. Like I said, Mental Health Conversation with Baz is on there. Let me know what y'all think, man. Leave a review on that. But Traumatic childhood events also contribute to increased drug use and dependency. So the trauma throughout the childhood leads to higher depression, suicide rates, anxiety disorders, eating disorders, drug use, and how they become dependent with the drugs. And that's all affecting the mental health. That trauma, it's too much to process at a young age. All the traumatic events at a young age is too much to process. And especially if they don't have a coping mechanism, a way to cope with it, or somebody to talk to about what they're witnessing or what they're going through, and they just bottle it all in, this is just like a ticking time bomb, slowly releasing over time. And like I said, it comes higher rates of depression, suicide, anxiety, PTSD. They get aggressive. All that stimulates from the childhood. So if you, right now, and just reflect back to your childhood. I want you guys to, let's say, I want y'all to DM me about how your childhood was, and I'll read off your story anonymously to the other listeners, and just get their feedback and their reviews of it to see what they think. And I'll put mine up. I'll discuss mine. Like I said, my childhood was great. I had a loving father, a loving mother. Grew up. The only thing, we kept moving. We move every 3 to 4 years, honestly. I moved so much, I'm like, man, when we gonna settle down? And we finally settled down into a house. High school, about junior high. Junior high, we settled down, got a house, and that's when I met all my real friends. No new friends, no, my bad. But that's when I met all my real friends and everything. So my childhood, I was grateful for it. I had a loving family around me, raised me right. Church every Sunday, Bible study every Wednesday, church all day Sunday, literally. Grateful for that, though. Thanks to the man above. But it's really it's that childhood. And I think that's how it influenced me today to the man I am. But yeah, I want to hear y'all childhood stories. Like growing up, even if you have some childhood trauma or some childhood pain, let me know. I want to discuss it. I want to talk to you, and I really want to get in and see how it affected you and how it's affecting you now. Back to the bullet points. Drug use begins at a much younger age in those who experience childhood trauma. And I think that happens because as a child, they're trying to find a way to cope with what they're dealing with. And drugs are so accessible so especially when it comes even if it's pills these days, weed is very accessible. Just any type of drugs, it happens at a young age because they're trying to find a way to cope with life, deal with life, and live life without dealing with the abuse and mistreatment of them. So drug use begins at a much younger age. They experience that childhood trauma. It's tough. It's hard to deal with and cope with, especially if you don't have the right loving family around you, the right loving care, a positive role model, an adult, somebody that you can confide in. It's tough. You're looking for help, but you don't have help, and you don't know how to ask for help. So you turn to the drugs, and I'm pretty sure we've seen different movies of the drug use as a child, as a teen, how their lives shape out. But if you've seen it, anybody that's feel like they've gone through any hard times, abuse or anything of that nature, even a child or an adult, speak to them, let them know their love, let them know that you're there to speak, help them out. Even if you can't help them, just be an ear to them and listen to what they're going through, and maybe you'll have some advice for them. But that's just where it all goes. It's we all got to help each other out. Not when abusing drugs or anything of that nature. You probably get them off drugs. If you know somebody that's abusing drugs right now or just a heavy drug user and you know that shit ain't good for them, do your part and get them off that shit. Excuse my French though. But exposure to stressful events in childhood can increase the impact of stressful events throughout life. As a child, it's supposed to be raised. It's supposed to be a fairy tale. I want to say a fairy tale. Yeah, like a fairy tale. Fairy tale, Dr. Seuss book, anything of that nature. It's supposed to be like that. So any stressful event that they experience early is basically an add-on to more stressful events throughout their lives. Not all children who experience early life stress can go on to develop mental illness. So there's some kids that really dealt with that early stage stress, and that's coped with it, and they're really brilliant and good as fuck now. To this day, they're good. They're like, oh, I had childhood trauma. I didn't let it hold me back because maybe at that time they was thinking my current situation is my final destination. Either way, they was thinking a way out of what they was going through. They was staying focused on that burning desire, that beautiful picture, that beautiful destination to where they wanted to be. So, as well as kids, if I got some kids listeners, talk to your parents. If you can't sleep or eat, can't perform daily tasks like going to school, don't want to hang out with family or friends, don't want to do things you usually enjoy, you fight a lot with your family or parents, feel like you can't control your emotions and it's affecting your relationships with your family and friends, have low or no energy, want to harm yourself or others. And the last one, you want to harm yourself or hurt others, here's a number to call. 1-800-273-8255. Once again, that's 1-800-273-8255. That is the Suicide Prevention Hotline. 24/7, 365. You call that number, they will answer. You can also reach out to me 24/7, 365, and I'll get back to you. But I will be there to help you out within a timely manner. Just know you aren't alone. Lots of people have been where you are, or are there, and they may be there right now. You never know what you reaching out to them will help for them if they're going through the same thing you're going through. Y'all can most likely help each other out. So never think you're alone in what you're going through. Some people have been through it, and some people are going through it. So your story can help somebody else, uplift somebody else. So never think you're alone in what you're going through. There's people out there that love you and want to help you and assist you with anything you're dealing with or going through, any hard times, any bad times, anything of that nature. There's somebody out there willing to help and that wants to help. Like myself, there's others that want to help you. For real. Like I say, you can always reach out to me if you're going through anything, mentally, physically, spiritually, anything of that nature. You're going through anything, reach out to me. I'm here for you, to help you. We can find the help or get the help, or even if you just want to talk and have a conversation, I'm here for that too. Just don't be afraid to reach out or talk or ask for help or anything of that nature, because it's out there for you and you're not alone with anything you're going through. Just know that. Talk to somebody you trust, a parent, a family member, a teacher, school counselor, or another trusted adult. Always confide in somebody that you trust. Don't just be speaking just to speak to somebody randomly and you think that's going to hold weight. Always look for somebody to speak to if you're going through anything in life. They can, like I said, they've been through it and they may be going through it. And I've learned that myself, where I've been stubborn, I've been hard-headed about different things, and I didn't listen. My pops told me a few things I should have listened to. If I would have listened to him, everything would have been okay. But it's life, and sometimes you just want to go down your own path. Even though when somebody's telling you, hey, don't go down that path, and here's why, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go down this path anyway. No, don't do that. Talk to somebody you trust and really take their advice and listen to their advice because they're telling you that advice for a reason. Don't let it go in one ear and out the other. So, a family member, a parent, teacher, a school counselor, anybody you trust, confide in them and let them know what you're going through or what you're dealing with, or just reach out to somebody that you know will give you good advice. And that's what I personally like, reaching out to talk to people, anything I'm going through, there's somebody that can give me good advice. Even if you may have to pray sometimes, write it down, get a journal, write out how you feel. If you don't know how to speak, write it out, write a letter to somebody like, hey, can you read this and get back to me? Something of that nature. If you don't feel like talking, that talking will make you break down or anything, write it out. Sometimes writing stuff out on a paper of how you feel or what you're going through helps out way more than talking to somebody, because you're expressing yourself on paper and you're reading it and you're looking at these words. So that's what I do. I like to write out how I feel, what I'm going through. Even like if you're going through anything, write out a gratitude journal. Write out what you're grateful for. Write out the positive things, the good things that's going on in your life. Write out what makes you happy, what makes you joyful, what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, your goal for tomorrow, to-do list for tomorrow. Write out your favorite ice cream, your favorite food recipe, right? Just write to express yourself and how you feel and what you feel. Don't keep it all bottled in. That's not going to help at all. But we're going to give y'all a brief break, man, and I'm going to get back to it. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Sana IE. Here's some little myth and facts about mental health. There is no hope for people with mental health problems. Once a friend or family member develops mental health problems, he or she will never recover. That's a myth. Fact is, studies show that people with mental health problems get better and many recover completely. There are more treatment services and community support systems than ever before. So if you feel like somebody, a friend or a family member has a mental health problem, help them through it. Help them find the right solutions, the right treatments, the right services, the right support systems. Be their support systems. Help them get through what they're going through and what they're dealing with. Don't just leave them out, shut them out, and think, oh, well, you got this. Adios, amigo. Nah, can't do that. Just invest your time with them. Show them that you care. Show them that you love them, and help them get through what they're getting through. Don't just write them off. Don't just shut them off if they have a mental health issue or problem. Everybody has mental health, and some people have a mental illness. They're going through a mental illness journey. Help them with that journey. Be by their side. Hold their hand. Help them find the right treatments, the right people, the right community to get them out through that phase. Next up, I can't do anything for a person with mental health problem. Myth. Friends and loved ones can make a big difference. Only 44% of adults with diagnosable mental health problems and less than 20% of children and adolescents receive needed treatment. Only 44% of adults and less than 20% of children and adolescents receive needed treatment. That has to change. Friends and loved ones can make a big difference. That's one of the biggest statements out of what I just said. Like I said, if you have a family member, a friend, or somebody that's going through any mental health issues, help them out. Be there with them. Invest your time, invest your love. Check on them on a daily basis. See how they're doing. Check them on. If you got to check on them every minute of the day or anything of that nature, do your part to help them out. You can make a big difference. That shows them that you care and that you're investing that time with them, showing them like, hey, I'm here for you if you ever need me. And that plays a big part in people's lives, as well as children. Children go through a whole lot on a daily basis. dealing with school, dealing with classmates, dealing with teachers, just a whole lot to where they need somebody to talk to too at the end of the day. They maybe want to come home and let you know how their day was and whatnot. Talk to them, let them talk. Even if you have to want to get them a journal or anything of that nature, that'll be good too, to help them out and uplift them and express how they feel. Friends and family can be important influence to help someone get the treatment and services they need. Be that influencer, that important factor in their life, that role model, that helper that they need, that person needs if they're dealing with something. You can help them out. Or even if you probably went through it yourself, help them out. Help is always needed. We can always help one another with anything that we're going through. Prevention doesn't work. It's impossible to prevent mental illnesses. That's a myth. Prevention of mental health, emotional and behavior, prevention of mental, emotional, and behavioral disorders focuses on addressing known and risk factors such as exposure to trauma that can affect the chances that children, youth, and young adults will develop mental health problems. In fact, promoting the social, emotional well-being of children leads to higher overall productivity, better educational outcomes, lower crime rates, stronger economies, lower healthcare costs, improved quality of life, increased lifespan, and improved family life. So, prevention of those disorders, can go a long way. Goes a long way. Helping prevent that. Like I said, talking to the children, getting them the right advice, seeing how their day was, seeing what they're going through, seeing what they're dealing with. You never know, because like I said, some kids have a hard time expressing themselves, and they don't want to tell you as a parent because they don't want to feel vulnerable or feel weak or something of that nature. Be that loving, trusting parent to where they can talk to you and confide in you about anything and everything that they're going through, instead of just like I said, kids go through a lot on a daily basis themselves, but they don't know how to open up and speak. So that's where, as an adult, as a parent, that's where you come in and just sit down and talk to them. How was your day? Oh, you can talk to me about anything. I won't judge you. I will always accept you for who you are, who you want to be. Let me know what's going on, anything you're dealing with, something of that nature. Just give them that confiding conversation, that comforting conversation to where like, damn, I can really open up. They ain't gonna say damn, but they can be like, oh, I can open up. Oh, I feel like I can open up and they can talk to you. That opens the floodgates to them expressing how they feel, what they feel on a daily basis. So, man, it's just crazy. Just reading about all this and just thinking about how all of this can be prevented, but no matter what, it's still going to happen. It's life. But as the tribe, the community that we are, we can stop it, slow it up, or one by one. But appreciate y'all listening, tuning into the show. Sana XO. I'm just really like not in the trash, just really like trying to like decipher all this information that I spit out on the show, and just like my mind just like, how can I prevent this? So that's what I'm just really thinking right now. So I'm trying to get my words together. But the show, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Recap of the show, discuss the quote of the day. You can't waste so much energy trying to make everyone happy. But at the end of the day, it's impossible to please everyone. So you just need to focus on what makes you happy. Focus on what makes you happy. Focus on what brings you joy. Focus on that. And the happiness from others will come. The other quote is, stop hating yourself for everything you aren't. Start loving yourself for everything you are. Love yourself for who you are right now, this very moment. Start today. It starts now. Love yourself. Period. Discuss what I learned this week. Learn to do it yourself. Learn anything you want to do, anything you want to accomplish. If you feel like somebody's taking too long to make it happen, do it yourself. You ain't got to wait for them. Do it yourself and you can make it happen. As long as you believe in yourself and you have that confidence in yourself, of course it's going to happen. Live below your means and save more. That's a big thing. Live below your means. You ain't always got to eat out. You ain't got to splurge. You ain't got to go shopping or buy. Nah. Sometimes it's time to knuckle up and settle down. So, that means live below your means. Have a monthly budget, a weekly budget. Budget out your money. Learn to save more. Start saving more. Investing more. Learn to take a break. I need to take a break. Take a break. That's the biggest thing. Take a break. Get yourself back together. Get back to the being that you. I discussed childhood trauma. Exposure to traumatic experiences in childhood can have a negative impact on the development of the brain when it's most vulnerable. The brain is most vulnerable as a child. Traumatic experiences have a negative impact on the brain. Talk about child maltreatment. It's more common than reported. The childhood adversity. They deal with emotional, physical, and sexual abuse, neglect, and the sudden loss of a parent or caregiver. That happens as a child. I'm pretty sure maybe someone in your family as a child went through some type of abuse or adversity as a child. Talk to them, see how they're dealing with it, see how they're coping, and just check on them, check on people. And that's just really what it comes down to. Checking on others, just doing what we have to do. But I believe it starts with the children. If you're raising kids right now, I salute you. But also talk to them, see how they're feeling, see how they're doing, checking on them and constantly on a daily. The world is a cruel and evil world we live in. So it's us to do our part to make it more loving, more happy, and just do our parts. So appreciate y'all tuning in, man. I'm going to be back at y'all again on Monday. XO Sana IE. Like the show, subscribe to the show, send it to a friend. Let me know what you think. Let me know the reviews. You can, if you're close to me, send me a text of what you think about this show, or write a review on the comments on the Instagram page at Sana IE Podcast. Even if you want to email at sanaiepodcast@gmail.com, greatly appreciate that. I'll be tuning in. And like I said, I want to hear y'all childhood experiences. If you've dealt with any trauma or went through any trauma, let me know. I want to talk about it. I want to see how you're dealing with it. I want to see how you're coping with it, see the coping skills that you went through, anything of that nature. I want to know. I want you to reach out and talk to me because I want to know what my listeners, what they've been through, and just everything. So I appreciate y'all tuning in. Hope y'all have a great, glorious weekend. Protect yourself. Be kind to one another. Love yourself. Love yours. Love your people. And wash your hands. But see y'all soon, man. Sana IE, XO, we out.